Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Lakeland Vale Let's Play series with me, CWATTYESO. It is a new day, and that means we have some work to do. We have two fields over here that require us to cultivate them. And then we've got another field behind us, field 22, that requires planting or something of that nature. Right, so decisions are to be made. What are we going to plant next? What are we going to do? Right, for planting, I'm probably going to use one of my case magnums, wherever they are hiding. I keep losing my tractors, people. I know there's one here with the auger wagon on it. Where's my other one? Is he down at the animals, possibly? This tractor does need a bit of a service and a repair, which is kind of why I don't want to use it today for seeding. The autonomous one is parked there, my baling buddy. He can stay there for a minute or three. Yeah, this guy's down here, look, at the animals. Right, whilst I'm down here, I'll just quickly put the water in for the cows. And then we'll do the pigs as well. Quick look at the animals. Okay, the horses aren't ready for sale today. They will probably be tomorrow then, I'm guessing. Is when we sell the horses. Pigs watered up nicely. So we need to do some seeding stroke planting today. We're going to go up to field. We've got to go up into that corner, do the new field over there. Steiger's going to be doing the cultivating because he's obviously quite beastly. So I'll take that. There we go. Right, what are we going to plant on field 21? Or 22, should I say? Probably going to do oats. I'm a bit limited because by this seeder, actually. This seeder is kind of limited on what it can plant. I also don't know if I can do this with courseplay. We'll see. Should be able to. So let's have a look, Ski. We're going to put him on fertilising and seeding. Turn on field is deactivated. That's good. Check his advanced settings. When to raise implements late, when to lower them early, that is fine. Use fertiliser of cedar is activated. So that's all okay there. Speed wise, he's all okay. Right, course generation then. So it's going to be field 22. Starting location is going to be southeast corner, heading west. Skip rows 1. We're not going to do headlands. And working width we will set to 12. Right. That's generated. He should do that. If I hire the worker correctly, he should be able to do the seeding. Perfect. Right, we will now get on and do the cultivating of our recently harvested fields 1 and 2. Cool. I never did upgrade the subsoiler, did I? I never did get a bigger subsoiler. There is a 14, well, nearly 15 metre one of these available in the store, and I never did upgrade it, did I? Also, whilst I'm here, what field is that in front of me? Field 10. Is there a contract for field 10 at all? Cultivating, 5 grand. I would have done it, but not for 5 grand. Sorry, game. Sorry, game. I'm not doing cultivating for 5 grand. Not a field that size. I know it doesn't take long to do with these machines, but still, it's a bit of a ball ache. And we'll do a screenshot for the thumbnail. It's a bit harder today because I've moved my microphone again. And it's now sat right in front of me, which means I have to reach round it and past it every time I want to use the keyboard to press a button. Which I have to do to turn off the HUD and take a screenshot. So we're cultivating these lovely fields that we put our slurry on in the last episode. And you'll notice I'm doing the skip a row method of cultivating. A bit like the seeder's going to be doing. He's going to be skipping a row as he's doing the seeding. So that just makes it a little bit easier, and then I'll come back in and fill the rows at the end, and then that'll be this field done. This field will be then ready for planting. I say that because obviously the planters are not direct drill, so you always have to cultivate when you want to use a planter. A seeder you can get away with because a lot of the seeders are direct drill. The one I'm actually using on field 22 isn't a direct drill seeder, but fortunately that field had been cultivated by the farmer before I bought it, so saves me having to I can just seed straight onto that field. Does make it a little bit easier, I will admit. I probably should have got myself a direct. I don't know if there is, and there probably is direct drill planters available in the store. There's the Caverland, but it doesn't. The Caverland stuff doesn't say whether it's direct drill. I do know that the Stara is a direct drill. Don't think any of the John Deeres are direct drill, so I think that's the only one that is. The 27 metre wide Stara. The 27 metres is a little bit big. For these fields, wouldn't be too big for field 11 over there. It wouldn't. That would be quite fine. 27 metres is definitely too big for these fields. The one I've got, the corn, it might be something I get actually, because when we come to replant that field, after we've done the corn harvest, and also once we come to replant field 20, after we've done the sunflowers, it might be useful to have a bigger seeder. Planter, should I say. But anyway, I'm going to carry on. I'm going to get the cultivating done. I'm going to bring you guys back when I'm ready to start planting on these fields. So, I'll see you guys in a few moments. And we're back, folks. Cultivating is done. Planting has now started, and as you can see, field 1, I'm planting potatoes. I decided to do potatoes here on field 1 for this coming winter, this fall. Field 2, I've got an idea of what I want to plant on field 2. I just need to check whether this planter can actually do it, whether I've actually set the map up properly to enable me to be able to do it. If I haven't, then I'll be planting something else. But originally what I wanted was to be able to plant. So yeah, I know people say, well, haven't you already got potatoes planted down at the bottom of the map? Yes, I have. However, those are going to be for premium potatoes, whereas these potatoes are going to be for pig food. I'm literally going to take them straight out of the ground, and I'm going to put the potatoes from this field into the pig food, whereas the potatoes being harvested from the bottom of the map down there in the bottom left or top left of the screen, they're going to be put through the washer and sorter and turned into actual premium steamed lovely jubbly potatoes, which I can sell for top dollar, I'm hoping. Apart from that, everything's going okay. As you can see, Mr. Cultivator Man has done a little bit of a decent job. He has missed a little bit of the field in a couple of places, but to be honest, I'm not going to worry about that. That's probably more to do with the auto width setting on the seeder. I should have made it half a metre less, just to make sure he got the proper overlaps and stuff. You know, it is what it is. He's done a better job than what the Giants worker would have done, because the Giants worker could not have driven that seeder because he couldn't reverse it for a start. So when he got to the end of the row and tried to turn around and do the next row, he would have then got himself in a right angle and would have got the whole thing messed up right round his neck. So the good thing about courseplay is you can tell it to skip a row, so it makes a much better turn, and then it will come back and fill it all in at the end. But I'm only planting oats on that field anyway, so it's not a great loss if he does miss a little bit, because I'm going to get plenty of oats off of that field, aren't I? Going to get plenty of oats. So of course I've done this potato seeding. However, I think I'm going to have to fertilise, aren't I? Yes, I'm going to have to come back with some fertiliser and go over the field again. Because I didn't do 2 stages of fertilising. I opted not to do the I just slurry spread after I harvested. I didn't bother doing the oil seed radish type deal. Right, now comes the question. No, can't plant what I wanted to plant. This planter doesn't do it. planters again in the store and see what planters do what. None of them do what I want. None of them will plant the crop I wanted to plant. So, what are we going for then? Sunflowers again? Another little batch of shunt flowers? Possibly. What I wanted to plant, I wanted to do a field of poplar. I wanted to do poplar and do some wood chips. Get a forage harvester and do wood chips. Unfortunately, none of the planters will do poplar on this map because I didn't set it up so that planters could do poplar, which means I'd have to get the poplar planter from the store, mess about with the pallets of poplar saplings, and it's just like, nah, don't want to do that. I'm not that fussed about doing poplar that I'm going to get the poplar planter. Also, the poplar planter would actually leave gaps because of how it seeds. It puts the poplars in rows but leaves a gap between the rows. I know that's probably how you would do it in real life. However, I prefer doing poplars with a planter like this so I completely cover the whole field, and then that works out much better when you're attacking it then with a forage harvester. You get a much bigger yield and a much better yield off the field. Because you seeded the whole thing. Also, poplars take an absolute age to grow, so they would definitely been one of the final things I harvested in this series. They would have been, yeah, definitely one of the last items to be seeded, to be harvested, because they will take so long to grow. I think in growth control I've got it set to 96 hours between growth stages, which is 4 in-game days between each growth stage. So for example, to move from seeded, light green, it would be 4 days to the next stage, another 4 days taking you up to 8 for the next green stage, another 4 days which would be 12 for the dark green growing stage, and then another 4 days which would be 16 in-game days before you reach the first ready to harvest stage. It would take 16 in-game days to be able to harvest the poplar. And that's how I've got things set up currently on the multiplayer server. I've got a very similar growth control thing planned on the multiplayer server. So some things take a long while to grow on the server. That's why it's important to have lots of fields, then you can keep yourself busy. Yeah, we've got my canola. That'll be ready to harvest soon, and then I'll be doing the same again, fertilising the field, cultivating the field possibly if they need cultivating. Don't necessarily have to do that because I could go straight over those fields with the Amazoning, direct drill them, because on this map, the way this map is set up, I can put soybeans down with the seeder. On future maps that I play, I am going to change that so that you can only plant soybeans with a planter and not a seeder. I'm going to remove the soybeans from the seeder category in the fruit types XML file of the map. So you can only do your soybeans with a planter. And then it means that when you want to do your soybeans, you're going to have to cultivate the field first, because you won't be able to direct seed. So it gives you that extra workload, that extra bit of workload to do soybeans. But there we go. Sunflowers are planted. So I'll quickly refill this with seed, because obviously I'm going to need to do those 2 fields there. So don't hit the baler, please, mate. Please, 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 please. Don't hit my baling buddy, which I've just left there. Must admit, it's the one nice thing about playing in single player is I can just leave the machines where I want, and no one's going to shout at me, no one's going to yell at me for not putting them in a shed, no one's going to get all angry about me leaving vehicles on a field. In multiplayer we do tend to get a little bit every vehicle's got to be in its shed if it's not being used, and sometimes I find that to be a little bit, I wouldn't say annoying, but I think to myself, sometimes it would be nice just to leave vehicles at fields or near fields. Keep bringing them to the farm. And also, like I say, one thing that was brought to my attention this weekend by one of the players on the server is that the frame rate on the server when you're at the farm is quite poor. And it's like, well, yeah, we do tend to have a lot of things at the farm. For a start, we've got all the animal pens and all the buildings that the map gives you. So all the animal pens, all the farm buildings that are built into the map, they're all there in their super high res textures that the map author has put in, and everything. So that's quite a performance hit. Then you've got all the additional buildings and stuff that we've added, our own placeables for like global company stuff and that, which again is going to be a big performance hit. Especially things like storage racks, buildings that, like the buildings and stuff that do like our seed and fertilizers, pallet storage, because all those pallets have to be rendered by the game. Okay, so that's extra little bits that the game, individual objects that the game has to kind of make room for, and generate. We've then got things like stacks and bales, hay bales. We've got probably 2 or 3 stacks of hay bales when we've done the hay. We've got a couple of stacks of straw bales for doing like the animal pens, lining the animal pens, which again are all little objects that, you know, the game needs to render and generate. Then we've got all the vehicles, and obviously because we're playing multiplayer and there's normally 2 of us who play religiously, me and Mr. Helgi, we have 2 of every vehicle and every tractor because, you know, like to do things like, you know, if we're doing harvesting, we both do harvesting together, we're both driving machine, we both have a grain cart, etc, etc, etc. And that just then doubles up again how many objects you have to make room for. Right, course player's finished. So what we'll do, I'm going to stop him, clear the course. I might just unfold him and manually just drive down the edges and just do the bits he missed. Normally I wouldn't bother. But he has missed a few more lines there than I would have liked. And I'll do the one on the other side, I'll do the other edge as well. But you can clearly see that this is much faster way of doing it than had I done it with Giants workers. Because they couldn't do the skip rows method. They would have tried turning around and doing the absolute very next row of the field. And that would have got them into a complete and utter mess. Because they can't back up with these types of seeders. With the carts on the back. They can't reverse those, so they get in a tangle. Giants workers do. And even the that super fancy, supposedly super fancy vehicle extension, AI extension mod that Mr. Helgi says I should have used, that had the same issue. That can't reverse these types of seeders, so that's definitely a plus for the course play. It can drive these air carts and things. I probably should have grabbed myself the one of the Borjo ones, which would have been a little bit bigger than this. As I've got the DLC installed, but I might save that for me next map, next series. We'll see. But anyway, I'll get this fields seeded. It is going to rain. Now that's going to take us up to today. Going to fill out the rest of today. Dolores can take the rest of the afternoon off. Put her feet up. Enjoy a bit of sunshine maybe before the rain comes. Tomorrow we will need to most likely sell the horses. I think that'll be one job to do tomorrow. We will probably also need to fertilise fields 1 and 2. We will then also need to do the herbicide. We're going to have to do the weed spraying on these fields as well. But obviously, knowing what we know, do the fertilising first. Because if I spray the herbicide first, I won't be able to then fertilise. The fertiliser won't register after you've sprayed with herbicide. So always do the fertiliser first. I shouldn't need to do field 22 though, because that was already fertilised one step, because I did the compost on that, if you remember. So that is good. I do need to do 1 and 2. All my other fields are all nicely fertilised. Everything is growing. We will have fields 20 and 21 to harvest very soon, as well as 3 and 4. I haven't really looked at the grass situation lately. Field 16 is ready to harvest again, as is field 5, but I'm kind of not that bothered about doing the mowing at the moment. One of the things I might do next time I do some straw, I might do straw pellets. Do some straw pellet making. Use the pellet machine a bit more. Right, just need to disconnect that one. It's the only thing with these with this planter. When you come trying to put it back in the shed, it's a little bit fiddly. start that one back. There we go. That's all the machinery. Right. Refuel the tractor quick because it's a bit low on fuel. And that's going to be it for today's, folks. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. As always, if you have, make sure you click that like button for me. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments, obviously, in the section below the video. And feel free to share the video wherever you see fit, with whomever you see fit. I've been CWATTYESO. This has been the Lakeland Vale 1 map by Stevie. I have to say Lakeland Vale 1 now, because obviously he's got Lakeland Vale 2. This is the Lakeland Vale 1 map by Stevie. And he's also started on Lakeland Vale 3, the return of Snetterton's Farm, which was a map he did for FS17 that he's going to bring back to FS19 as part of his Lakeland Vale series of maps. So, there we go, folks. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. I've been CWATTY. Goodbye for now.